guys, and welcome back to an interview with GlenNeta Griffin. And we have a very special interview and conversation today. I am here with a candidate. She's running as an independent candidate for U.S. Senate. She is a champion for all Georgians, and I've been following her for a very long time in the community, and I am so proud to support her. Please help me welcome Valencia Stovall. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to talk to you today because for one, I'm vested in you because I've seen you in the community for years, just fighting for us and for just being there and for education and fighting for our kids and all of that. So I want to give you an opportunity today to talk about what you are doing, and I want people to tune in and to really get behind you and support you. So let's talk about what's going on with you right now and how did you even get into politics?
Well, thank you so much, GlenNeta, for this opportunity, and to your listening audience. I got into politics with my father, Valencia Stovall, who's a community advocate in the city of Atlanta on the southeast side of Atlanta. And he's been involved with some heavy hitters when it comes into the political arena. Starting with the late Mayor Maynard Jackson, who was the first African-American mayor to be elected to a southern city. He helped assisted with his first campaign and even his subsequent campaign with Mayor Shirley Franklin, who was the first African-American woman and first woman to be mayor of Atlanta. He's helped with many state representatives, even Lieutenant Governor, the Governor Jimmy Carter. So many people in the political arena. And so my sisters and I followed him around on the different campaign trails, even being involved on community organizations where I was even secretary of one of those organizations. So learning that groundwork of grassroots community is where I really got started in the political arena.
That's awesome. And you have definitely been serving the time and putting in the work. Let's talk about a turning point. I know some people, they say it was that moment that I knew I had a purpose or this is what I was supposed to do. What was that turning point for you that made you say, this is what I have to do?
Yes. The turning point as a mother, I have a son and a daughter. Of course, they are adult children, so I don't know if you still say adult children or not, but they're adults now. But at that time, my son was 4 years old, had just started pre-K. And the teacher told me that he was diagnosed with a learning disability. It was hard for me. And so I wanted to find out everything I could about his learning disability and how I can be able to help him as his mother. I ran into a lot of roadblocks with our traditional public school, not understanding. And a lot of times there are other parents like myself who are going through those same situations and just want the best for their child, because they know that if their child does not get a foundation early on, that they're going to have trouble once they age out of the system and become adults. So I wanted to be able to fight, which I did. I wasn't even elected. We went to the school board meetings, talked with the superintendent and school board members. Some of them I knew from the political arena, and just gave my voice as to why I wanted the best education setting for my child, and then which was going to also help the other children that fell in that same category of the learning disability. And so we fought, and we were able to get changes. I was a PTA president, which my dad was a PTA president, and my two sisters also a PTA, and also I served on the citywide PTA of council. But that was just my voice on that level, and I needed the voice to be magnified because policy needed to change. It was okay to just change intermediately, but there were really policies that need to be changed.
That's great. And I love that you said that you were doing this before you even got elected. So that lets us know what kind of person you really are. Let's talk about your qualifications. You're not just running for a state rep, you're running for U.S. Senate for Georgia, which is a big deal. Talk about your qualifications and your history in politics.
Yes, so yes, it is a very huge step. Some people are even asking, why did you give up your state representative seat? You didn't have any opposition. You have leadership at the state capitol. even being in the minority at the Capitol. And I said that, you know, the issues we are facing at the state Capitol, we've just been putting bandages on these issues when the real solutions have to come from Washington, D.C. And the only way for us to be able to tackle and find those solutions is to be able to have a voice at the, in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Capitol. And so I decided to take my 8 years of experience as a legislator in policy, being able to work across the aisle with both Democrats and Republicans. We've been able to pass some meaningful legislation. And also my 30 years as a business owner, my 30 years as a community advocate when it comes down to making sure resources are getting out to our community. And so I'm taking all of that experience bundled into one to Washington, D.C. to be a champion for all Georgians.
I love that. And let's break down you running as an independent, because I know a lot of people, they don't understand the differences. They know what they believe, they know who they want to vote for, but you're running as an independent. Tell us exactly what that means and why you decided to run as an independent.
Yes. So running as an independent allows me to be able to vote independently. That means set aside from any particular party. I'm a Democrat now, have been a Democrat legislator for the 8 years that I've served. But I've also seen what happens when it comes to partisanship and also leadership in both parties. And so, and I witnessed it personally in the Democratic Party, that when you don't vote along party line, according to what the party says, then you're ostracized to a certain extent within that party. And so looking at how large this position is and the bigger issues that we're going to have to face in Washington, D.C., I did not want to go to Washington, D.C. having to be beholden to one particular party. I want to be able to think and speak and vote independently, but being able to, at the same time, valuing both sides, both parties have value in them, but being able to speak independently. That way I really am being able to be a champion for all Georgians. There are currently 2 independents that are in Washington, D.C. now. One of them actually was Bernie Sanders, who ended up running as on the Democratic presidential ticket.
Mm-hmm. Right, yes, absolutely. And you said this is a large party, but looking at how many people are running for this same U.S. Senate seat, there are, if correct me if I'm wrong, there's 19 and you make 20?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so what sets you apart from everyone else? Because I don't even want everybody to go down the list and even like, look, I want them to just scroll down and go to Stovall. So what sets you apart from everybody else?
I reiterate again, my compassion for the people. I have a proven track record for the years that I've been able to serve, been very successful, have brought $45 million to Clayton County that prevented an increase in sales in taxes, personal taxes. I've also been able to pass legislation for special needs students, also for single parents, making sure that they have resources. So you want someone that's well-rounded, but at the same time has a heart for the people and who's also going to fight for the people. And you need a voice at the table that's going to be a neutral voice and not beholden on one particular side. So if that's the person you're looking for, and you know we need a voice in Washington, D.C., not just for Black women, but also for all people that have to be affected by those policies that are coming down from Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%. I think that that's a big issue where everyone doesn't feel like they're represented. I know that that's been the case in politics for a very long time. So I'm glad that you are standing up and saying, I am this voice for Black women and for women and for everybody, because they forget everybody else too, you know. So I love that that's what you're doing and what you're standing for. You have an opportunity to really make history in this election. Tell us about that.
Yes, very historical.
Yes.
When you look at 100 seats in the U.S. Senate in Washington, D.C. for the United States of America, there is only one Black African-American woman that's serving now. If elected, when elected, not if, when elected, I will be the first African-American woman to be elected from Georgia as the U.S. Senate, and also the first Black African-American woman to be elected from any of the southern states, and the third ever to serve in the United States as a senator.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. How do you plan on making sure everybody knows that you are champion for everybody, like all Georgians across the board? Like, how do you plan to champion for everybody?
Well, that's where you and your audience come into play, because you know word of mouth is very powerful. And so definitely taking what you heard today, checking out my website, GoStovall.com. I'm on all the social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And so I need your vote. I'm asking for your vote to make sure that we get this word out across the state. This is a statewide election. There are only 2 senators that represent the state of Georgia. And Valencia Stovall, with your support and your vote, will be the 2nd senator to represent this state.
Absolutely. Before we close out, what else do you want people to know about you? If there's something we haven't said today, like you personally too, because I love that, you know, you represent us, but I also love that you're a woman and that you're a Black woman and that you're fighting for everybody. Like, what do you want people to know about you?
Well, it's definitely time for us to truly work together to make sure that we're implementing community-driven policies. What happened during the pandemic and what's currently happened is that people are affected, they still are affected. And so we need those policies to come down to the local level. And it has to come from Washington, D.C. We're very dependent on Washington, D.C. For our basic needs. And so you want someone like Valencia Stovall who has the experience and know how policy works, and then also at the same time understand the needs of the community in which I will be elected to serve. So I'm asking for your vote again, and to send me to Washington, D.C. to be your voice and to make sure that you have awareness and you have access to what is going on in Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. How can everyone watching stay connected and join the Stovall team?
Definitely check out the website at GoStovall.com. A lot of information about my campaign, about me personally, and ways that you can be able to volunteer. You can be able to make a donation to the campaign. I'm also on social media handles, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram at Valencia Stovall.
Awesome. Good stuff. I am praying for you. I am voting for you. I want you to know that we support you. We're right behind you. Everybody, please go to GoStovall.com. Check her out. See what she stands for, and make sure that we get our seat at the table. Thank you so much for joining us today. I wish you the absolute best, and we'll see you guys. What's the voting date?
November the 3rd, but vote early. And
Yes.
I'm number 16 on that special election section. So look for
16,
Stovall, that's all.
election. Yes, absolutely. Number 16, special election. Vote early. The election day is November 3rd, but vote, vote, vote. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Stay connected at GlenNetaGriffin.com.